practice shot. I broke my neck. Okay, so chipping. The short game, when you don't land the green, I wanted to get rid of that all day. Not too good. It should have gone that way. When you don't land the green, if you can chip. Okay, that's keeping the ball lower. It gets on the green sooner. It starts to track like a putt. Okay, that has topspin, forward roll. Okay, if you can't chip and you have to pitch because you're on that side of the bunker, you don't have any choice. Okay, if you can putt it. All right, and usually what determines whether you can putt it or not is how far off of the skirt are you? Are you putting into the teeth of Bermuda grass? Okay. And if you're putting into the teeth of the grass growing that way, it's going to hold the ball up. Guessing your speed because you're running it through the thick grass versus it's going to pick up speed as soon as it gets onto the putting surface is a tricky call. So chipping, you clear all of this junk grass. The ball's in the air, but it gets onto the surface safely and starts tracking like a putt. Okay? To figure out, when you're back further than as close as we are, if you're going to chip it, like let's say I'm back in that area right there, I can chip any club. I can chip as long as I've got the distance on the face, okay? And you're going to start to understand that, but a chip motion is less movement, less margin for error, okay? We don't have a wrist cock in a chip motion. It's the letter Y back with the arms and the club shaft going back, and it's a letter Y through, so there's really no room for breakdown, okay? I'm going to teach you a stroke today where you're going to attach, very similar to the Langer putting style, the grip end to the arm, okay? But then it's up to you to keep it to the arm. And if you can do that, you can see how you're never going to lose the control of that face or the shaft, okay? But as soon as you throw the club head and the handle backs up, just like in full swing, okay, then that's when the club starts to climb up and the face goes left. Okay, so you're going to miss that shot. All right, so if you can get this, if you can learn to stroke the chip shot with this butt end of the club attached to the left arm and keep it there, even your misses are going to be very good shots. Okay? All right, hand travel for the chip. Again, we've got to figure out what club for distance. Okay? And back to the 1/3, 2/3 for the chip. You gotta take a look at what do you have to cover here. Okay, and from here to the pin where that man is standing, I've got about 60 feet, 75 feet. Okay, more like 75. Okay, and so I've got to break this down into 1/3 would be like right where that white spot is right here. Okay, from back there. And then I've got 2/3 run out, okay? Or 1/3 would be in that whole wide area right there where the grass is dying, okay? And then I got 2/3 run out to the pin, okay? If I was way back there, I'd have to bite off 1/3, 2/3, okay? And at that point, I need to land it in the 1/3. And then as I land it in the 1/3, I know that that club for the chip motion is going to go 2/3 run, okay? But this one right here, we're going to lock in on stroke length, okay? We're going to start to learn what each club in our bag produces with that stroke length, okay? The stroke length, the hand travel is going to be to the right thigh, pivot past the left thigh, okay? So the hands are only ever going to go back to the right thigh and pivot to the left thigh. That's like having a governor on your car. Push the pedal down and it's only going to go that fast, okay? All the golf courts out here have that, or else they'd be dangerous, especially in Colorado, okay? But, in Hawaii. And so this governor is how far back do we take it. The further our hands go back, the more time the club head has an opportunity to gain speed, okay? And if we're out there with no set rate on how far our hands are going back, we really never know exactly how far that ball is going to go, okay? Put a governor on it, we know what club we're using, and I hit 7 irons going back this far, all the balls are going to land in the nucleus. I hit 5 irons, they're going to land in the nucleus just further than the 7 iron. a pitching wedge are going to land in a nucleus inside of that 7-iron, okay? And then you just start knowing that your 7-iron is going to go 30 feet, okay, with this governor, okay? Whenever we have a forward swing, that's as far as my right arm can go when both feet are on the ground. If I take something and I run out of right arm, okay? When I want to run out of right arm, that bends the left arm. So no matter how hard you do or how hard you try to keep that left arm straight, if you're stuck on that right foot, that left arm is going to be bent, okay? So you never want to run out of right arm. You want that right arm to get out there and extended with both. And the only way I can do it is to turn. And the only way I can turn is to release his right foot off the ground, okay? So for every shot other than a putt, unless it's a long putt, then you're going to need some pivot power, okay? For every shot other than a putt, you are always turning and going with the club, okay? But we don't need pivot on the backswing, so we're staying on the target leg. This target leg is impact for every shot in the book, okay? So this shot is 80% left, 20% right. And the right is just a stabilizer. You can pick this foot up and not fall over when you're in address, okay? All right. The club travels along wherever my shoulders are pointing, that's where that club is going to swing, okay? If I twist my shoulders over here, you see how that's where that club is going to swing, that's where my arms swing, okay? So wherever my shoulders are pointing, that's where my arms swing, that's where the club is going to be. That's the path that the club is going to go on, okay? So I wish we could play golf that way. We'd know where the club is all the time, but we'd be restricted. So when you step into this shot, you always, get behind your ball and you find your intermediate target, okay? And you can, because this, when somebody out on the tour, they do this for their living, so they do it enough that when they set up for this shot, they're not thinking about getting it close, even though that's what we're going to think about. They know that they can hold it, okay? Then give me your hybrid. All right. The ball position, if you play it back, it's going to go lower, all right? And if you play it in the middle, it's going to be the normal height that it should be. And if you need a little extra height, okay, play it forward, all right? It's going to add a little bit and take off a little bit of distance. The higher the ball, the shorter. The lower the ball, the longer. Okay? When you grab hold of this club, that saddle that's in our hand right there, that's where the grip goes. We take the left hand low on the club because we don't need the whole shaft for distance. Okay? So we get closer to our work. Turn this long, monstrous power tool into a precision surgeon's tool. Okay? The butt end of the club is right in the middle of the bicep, not underneath. There also had heel pads on top, and we didn't put the grip in the saddle. Okay? Good. The shaft is going to be standing up a little bit more straight up and down, which is a good thing because now that face doesn't deviate at all from the target line. Okay? If it was lower and I took my hands back, you see how the club goes in? But when it's straight up and down, it can swing a little bit more like that Ferris wheel that we're kind of familiar with, okay? And then that face never deviates from the ball. The feet and the hips need to be open so that the arms can swing back through. But the shoulders, if I want to get that 5-pin, okay, need to be parallel to my target line. So we got a little hula-hula going on. The hips and the feet are open, but the shoulders are parallel. So the lower rotational center is pointing that way. The shoulders are pointing towards target. Okay? So the toes, that would be square to the target line. You see that? Okay? Once the toes turn towards target, that turns the hips. Make sure your shoulders are parallel. Remember, the hand travels to the right thigh. Pivot forward takes the hands past the ball, past the intermediate target. Okay. So, nice position to be in from here, huh?